It's simply cyber espionage is a form of cyber attack that spy, steal sensitive data or intellectual properties to gain advantage over a competitive company or government entity.
Okay, so that means mostly it's the government institutions that may be suffering from such attacks, right?
Not really. It is not only about government, but corporates also do that. Corporates also spy on other. They are, because of competition sake, they spy on others to take advantage of it. So it's not only governments who suffer or do this. Corporates also do this.
Okay, so let's look at the different types. Then perhaps Vicky will come in with how it's also done. So if you can educate us more on the different types of these attacks, then Vicky will come in with a question on how it's done so that one can identify. Then we look at the prevention. Yeah.
All right. So if we are taking the different types of cyber espionage, we have the corporate espionage, and then we have economic espionage, we have state or nation espionage. And so if we have to take them one after the other, the corporate espionage, like I said earlier, corporates also do this. So remember we said that espionage is all about spying, and so a corporate entity will be spying on its another corporate entities of which they are in the same business together. They spy on them to extract certain information that they think it can help them. So corporate espionage is all about this. And then when we take the economic espionage, usually it involves businesses in two different countries, like a business in Ghana and then a business in, let's say, Nigeria. But because they are in the West African domain, they spy on each other for them to extract information that they think it can help them boost their market share. And then national or state espionage is where government attempt to steal sensitive data like military information, nuclear information from other countries.
Okay. So before we go to how it's done, I'm actually wondering, you're talking about the big things, the corporate spying, the economic spying, the business spying. But can there be something like relationship spying? Like people are in a relationship, they don't trust each other, they want to actually find out what is going on the phone or see, and they just actually hacking into the phone just to spy what is going on. Can there be something like that too?
Yes, of course. People spy on others all the time. Like I say, let me use the example you gave, like in a relationship, and then I don't seem to believe you so much about what you did, based on what you've done before, I suspect something. Normally, I advise, especially it is ladies who normally suffer from this much, like me buying you a phone, and then out of jubilation, you just slot in your SIM, and then you start using it. But for maybe I have some spy software on it. So wherever you go, I'll be spying on you. In fact, spying on someone is very dangerous. The way you can use your phone, if I'm spying on you, I can also use the same thing, like how you are using your phone for. I can spy on you to take videos of you that you are not aware. I can spy on you to listen to conversations around you that you are not aware. I can spy on you to even know your location where you are. So spying is not necessarily about corporate and nations and then government, but individuals too, we can spy on others.
So how is this whole spying done? Is it by an introduction of an app? They will get your IP address. How is it done?
Okay, thank you. We have the bad hackers, there are people who hack for bad, and then there are others who hack for good. These bad people create malicious softwares. So that's why you don't need to click on any link, and then you don't need to fall into any attack. You should be aware of how this kind of a lot of attacks are done. So if, for instance, I create a spy software, and then I send through you via either WhatsApp, either any means of communication, I send it to you. And then because you are unaware and then you don't take cybersecurity precautions, you click on it for my APK to be installed on your device. Then it means that now I have backdoor. So normally, now even things are so easy. It doesn't even take people who are so much experienced in this to even do that. We have people who have created such malwares that they are selling it over the internet. That when you subscribe to it or you buy it, you can get it and then you send it to.
Okay, so having mentioned all these, I just want to understand, let's say an SME somewhere, startup, a very small business, and as you mentioned, competitors can use espionage, cyber espionage to try to get information and use it in a competitive way. So as a startup or a small business, how do I prevent these things happening? Because like what you said, it can be done without you knowing. So what are the measures I need to put in place to avoid getting into such a situation that can affect my business?
Good. Thank you. Education and awareness is the key. You really need to educate your people on cyber security. There should some kind of awareness routine within that space. Wherever more than one person is working and they are using computers or devices that are connected via the internet, they need to be aware of the risk. So there should be some risk assessment, and then procedures will be given, so that it will be followed in the organization that will not cause that SME into such kind of attack. Let me give this example. I happen to be at one of the big media house in Ghana here, and that I was scheduled to meet the boss. So I got to the reception. They took me to the secretary of the boss, and so I had a chat with the secretary, and she was going to check whether the boss, is ready for me. So where she was, where her desk is, the computer was facing me directly, and I saw this lady who she has synchronized her WhatsApp onto the laptop of the company. So basically she was WhatsApping through the, the laptop. And imagine if someone sent a malicious link like this to this kind of lady through WhatsApp, and then she clicks on it, meaning she's going to get the whole network affected. And because she has been sending emails and files from her computers to the boss, meaning she's going to send this malware to the boss, and the boss will also get infected.
Yeah.
And that is going to create a remote access to the hacker, of which is going to extract a whole lot of information. Why is this done? Because the lady is not aware of so much that, and then it is not her fault. The company is not taking measures for such kind of things. So awareness and education is very important in this.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just curious. If we have to be this cyber conscious, then what happens to our antivirus software? Because if the person is actually WhatsApping with their laptops, and then a malicious ware is sent on the via the laptop or so, can't the antivirus help prevent that?
It can in a way, but it's not all that the antivirus can detect. there are some that are these people are very professional, and so there are so many malwares that the antivirus that you think you know cannot detect it. So imagine if your antivirus, you think that you are protected by that antivirus and that antivirus cannot detect it. What happened? You know?
Yes, sir.
So precaution is very, very necessary.
Okay, so you've mentioned precautions, but I believe aside the precautions, there will be some form of cyber security practices. I mean, even as part of precaution. So, in your expertise, what will you advise that we do as part of the cyber security practices that we need to inculcate in our businesses to avoid these things from happening? I mean, you've made mention of education, educating our staff especially, because it shouldn't always be the owners or the employees. I mean, most SMEs are found just equipping the owners or themselves, I mean the founders, than their employees. So I mean, with the story you did share with us, so that is very clear. But what are some other measures that can be put in place in the form of cyber security practices?
Good. One, regular patching. You know, we need to patch our systems and our software that we use all the time. And then two, we need to set up two-factor authentication on our logins, you know. And then we need to have, like I said, a high, quality security training for the employees. And also we need to have a reliable off-site backup solution, and there should be business resilience, or BCP, there should be some risk assessment in the organization. So when the business or what we are discussing is not all about business, but even nations also suffer from it. So there should be a BCP plan that has the business risk being identified in the organization, and then provisions and measures have been given, documented, and then tested by the organization for it to see that it's going to work. And there should be someone who is in charge to make sure that that person is monitoring all these behaviors that they are taking in place, and they are being ensured that it is working in the organization. So it's a whole lot that either by a nation, by a company or any institution that need to do cyber risk assessment, so that a lot can be identified. Like the story I gave, if there had been a BCP plan, I'm sure this could be addressed, because out of the risk assessment, the person will identify all of this and then provide certain measures so that it could not be as a bad person will see it and take advantage of it. Even for individuals like this, if you know what you are working on your PC is very sensitive data, you can have hard drive somewhere that you back up your data. This hard drive, you don't take it around, you leave it home. So in case of any damage to your system, you can rely on your drive that you have at home.
Okay.
So with that one, is there a way that, because what about, is it OneDrive and the other cloud system? Will that also substitute the off-site measures that you've mentioned, instead of maybe having it on a hard drive or something like that?
Yes, such are also important. You can rely on cloud, and then you can, like the example you give, OneDrive and all these things are backup solutions.
Okay.
So all these practices are good. When you have your data there and something happened, you can fall on it. So all are examples of backup solutions.
Okay.
I want to find out, by mentioning all these practices, I could hear expensive, because by doing this maintenance, you would have to actually pay to, do tighten your security measures in the offices and, in the economy and all that. How about the individual? Somebody has just gifted him or her just a phone, actually, and they just can't keep their calm to start using it. By not looking at the expenses aspect, how can the person still be cyber conscious by actually knowing whether there is a cyberware or anything like a spyware installed on the phone, whether it's been hidden from the person? How do they get to know all this and manage it?
Good. Thank you. You need to clean up your device whenever you see that your device is behaving some way. Sometimes when you click on an app, instead of that app to open, a different app is opening. The phone will be there and itself it is operating.
Okay.
And so with such, you need to the basic thing to do is to go and do factory settings.
Okay.
Go to your phone and redo your factory settings to wipe up everything that is there so that you can reset your phone or your device. Okay, and this is cheap and doesn't involve money, and then such a person to, like I keep mentioning, the education and the awareness are very important. Whenever you hear education about cyber security or whenever you hear about awareness of cyber security, you need to pay attention to it. And then we must be careful of free stuff. You check a lot of people devices that they have free antivirus. Who will spend time and create antivirus and give it to you for free?
Okay.
So the free stuffs have certain kind of mentality before giving you that kind of free thing. All the free antiviruses don't work. Conclude, I will say computers are man-made and they are used by man. Softwares are bound to have vulnerabilities. Therefore, you need to take cyber security awareness serious. And then also, governments and organizations also need to come in to help to educate our people to understand certain kind of risk that they face whilst using such kind of devices. And for organizations, there should be security policies and procedures to guide the organization to, prevent this kind of attacks.